Good morning. We're going to call to order the January 22nd, 2026 meeting of the
Recording in progress.
Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District. Selena, would you please call the roll?
Chair Aquino,
Here.
Director Desmond, Director Guerra, Director Hume, Director Jennings, Director Kennedy,
Here.
Director Lopez Taff. Here. Director Pluckybaum, Director Pratton,
Here.
Director Robles, Director Rodriguez. Here. Director Sander, Director Cerna, Director Vang. Here. We do not have quorum yet.
All right. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance very slowly. If you'd all please rise and join me. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Selena, would you please read the announcements?
Members of the public are encouraged to observe the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, participate in person via Zoom video or teleconference line, and by submitting written comments to boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments will be delivered to the Board of Directors. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is live and recorded in closed captioning. It is cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs Channel on Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. Today's meeting replays on Sunday, January 25th, 2026 at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14.
Great. And Director Jennings has arrived. So we're getting close. Until we have quorum, we're going to jump ahead a little bit to item 7.3, our 2025 Year in Review Community Report.
Yes. I have Emily Allshouse in chambers to give a presentation. Give me 1 second, I'll pull up the PowerPoint.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, members of the board. My name is Emily Allshouse. I'm a communications and marketing specialist here at the district. Here today to give you an update on the 2025 Year in Review Community Report. Next slide, please. The 2025 Community Report is a comprehensive look at everything that we delivered last year. It summarizes our work and accomplishments, and it provides details on projects and programs that people care about. This report will be used as a key outreach tool in 2026. Next slide, please. The report features accomplishments from every division of the agency, including last year's attainment of the 2008 ozone standard that we celebrated in August, our work on the South Sacramento Flora and Community Emissions Reduction Program, currently open for comment, and several innovative projects, including our heat mapping project with SAC-RT, SAVA's EV Lowrider, and Sierra Northern Railway's hydrogen-fueled zero-emission switching locomotive. Next slide, please. Last year, we also launched an ultrafine particle monitoring pilot. We began major upgrades to the Arden Del Paso monitoring station, and we continued to advance programs, longstanding programs like Check Before You Burn and the Supplemental Environmental Projects Program. Next slide, please. Last year, we also awarded nearly $16 million in clean air projects across the region. That includes $1.5 million for the Ecomotive Hydrogen Facility proposed near Galt, $1.5 million for CRP's new mobility hub. We distributed $1.5 million in commercial lawn and garden vouchers to go electric, over $2 million to swap out high-polluting tractors and equipment throughout the region, and we awarded more than $5 million to local schools to go electric. Next slide, please. We'll use this report at events, meetings, briefings, and as part of our media and partner communications. Why this report works for public engagement is it provides a consistent, ready-to-use narrative for our staff to talk about the projects and programs people care about. Next slide, please. The printed report will be paired with a digital campaign rolling out next week. Why this is important, it will expand the reach of the printed report far beyond print. It will support transparency and accountability, and it will help connect our work to community and public health benefits. Next slide, please. So looking ahead, I want to share that the Communications Office shares the board's goal of increasing public outreach, and we believe this report will position us well to do so. A digital copy of the report will be printed or will be linked online at the airquality.org/educational materials. And I've also shared our social media accounts if you'd like to follow along. You should have received 5 copies each of the printed report, but if you'd like additional copies, please let Selena know and we'll get them to you. Next slide, please. With that, I've reached the end of my report. This is a receive and file item, but I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Emily. Director Rodriguez.
Emily, I just want to say that this is pretty fantastic. It allows, I think it just allows me to really get to see a lot of the projects that we're working on and information that is always important for me to know, and the numbers. I love data, so thank you for this.
Yes, when you're happy, I'm happy.
Any other comments? I don't have any requests here. Emily, thank you. You're done early. You get to go back to the office early.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, Director Robles and Sandra have arrived, so we do have quorum, so we're going to go back to item 5, our consent calendar. Are there any questions on any items or anything that anybody wants to poll? And do we have any public comment on any of these items?
Not at this time, Chair.
I'll
Okay.
go ahead and move consent for approval.
Got a motion? We have a second from Director Robles. And we have everybody in chamber today, nobody zooming in, so we can do a voice vote. So all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll go to our next item. That's item 6, AB 617, Best Available Retrofit Control Technology Determination for Internal Combustion Engines. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Keno and members of the board. I'm Diana Colazo, and I work on rule development at the district. Before you today is staff's recommendation for the AB 617 Best Available Retrofit Control Technology Determination for Internal Combustion Engines. Next slide. Best Available Retrofit Control Technology, or otherwise known as BARCT, means reviewing emission controls to achieve the maximum reductions while considering environmental, energy, and economic impacts. BARCT review is an existing commitment for California air quality agencies that typically impacts existing operations through district rulemaking or state regulations. Next slide. Under longstanding requirements, BARCT is typically triggered when an area is designated as non-attainment for one or more air quality standards. For example, the image here shows the federal non-attainment area for ozone for Sacramento. BARCT review can be used as a strategy to reduce emissions. Control technologies that can be retrofitted onto existing equipment are analyzed and implemented. Next slide. As you may be aware, AB 617 was signed in 2017, during which the Cap and Trade program was reauthorized. There are 5 main components to the law that require focusing on community air protection. The first 4 components, which aren't the focus today, include air community monitoring, community emission reduction programs, penalty enforcement, reporting requirements, and grants. The 5th component, which I am here to talk about today, is expedited BARCT review for industrial sources subject to the Cap and Trade program, with the exception of power plants. Next slide. The Cap and Trade program impacts major industrial sources that emit greenhouse gases. To be subject to the program, a source must emit greater than or equal to 25,000 tons of CO2 equivalent. To put it in perspective, that's approximately 7,000 cars driven in 1 year. Staff identified only 2 industrial sources that were subject. Next slide. This isn't the first time we've brought AB 617 BARCT items to the board. Previous actions include determining which sources were subject to the law, adoption of an expedited schedule, and the adoption of BARCT determinations for natural gas production and steam methane reforming. The final steps are to review BARCT for internal combustion engines, bring the action before the board today, and submit our determination to California Air Resources Board. Next slide. The only source subject for IC engines is California Resources Corporation, or CRC. They are a Fortune 1000 energy and carbon management company, a member of the WSPA, and in 2024, they had a revenue of about $3 billion. As you can see on the map to the right, they have operations all throughout California. Their operations in the Sacramento Basin include 21 fields of natural gas production. Next slide. Specifically in Sacramento, their operations include production of natural gas, which is primarily fugitives. Various equipment is used to extract, clean, and transport the gas. The image on the right shows an example of the process and the equipment used. BART for this part of the operations was already brought to the board in a previous action. Natural gas production also includes the operation of stationary prime power IC engines. These engines are designed to operate continuously, making them suitable for industries where reliable power is crucial. At CRC, these engines are used to drive the compressors and emit nitrogen oxides and volatile organic compounds, which are precursors to ozone. The district has been in regular communication with CRC during the BART review process. Next slide. The BART analysis of IC engine operations reviewed local, state, and federal emission standards, as well as reviewed and compared rules of other air districts like Bay Area, South Coast, and San Joaquin to determine achievable BART emission limits for this category. The analysis also considered if an additional district rule is necessary. Staff determined the BART limits as 0.15 grams of pollutant per brake horsepower hour for both NOx and VOC. You may be wondering what that means. It is used as a measurement of emissions created per power output of the engine. So that means the lower the value, a cleaner the engine. Next slide. The permitted engines located at CRC were reviewed to find that of the 8 engines, only 1 did not meet the BART limit for NOx. When discussed with CRC, they voluntarily agreed to modify their equipment by replacing their existing 3-way catalyst with a more efficient one, similar to what you would see in a car. A new permit has been issued, reducing NOx emissions by over 80%. The engine now meets BART standards, and with that, the BART requirements have been satisfied and no additional rulemaking is necessary. Next slide. Staff's recommendations are to conduct a public hearing, determine the adoption of the analysis is exempt from CEQA, determine that the district's implementation and enforcement of the engine's permit meet BART, and approve the resolution adopting the analysis. This concludes the district's BART obligation under AB 617. Next slide. Thank you for your time today, and I am available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments for Diana? I have no requests to speak here. Okay, this is a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have any requests to speak, Selena?
Not at this time, Chair.
Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion to accept staff's recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
That takes us to our discussion calendar. Item 7.1 is the 25-26 Transportation Incentives, Investments, and Updates. Good morning.
Good morning, directors of the board. I'm Mike Newenberg. I am a program supervisor here in the Transportation and Climate Change Division, and I'm here today to talk to you about our transportation incentives investments. And really, I'm here to tell you a little bit about the story of really about the past, present, and future at the same time. So we're going to do a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of education, and then we will have an action item towards the end of this as well. So let's go on to the next slide here. And we could probably even go on to the next one as well, because I'm going to start the story off here as we talk about this. So really, our incentive program started up about 30 years ago under the leadership of the mobile source team that we had at that time, and also under the direction of Dr. Carl Moyer. He was a consultant for the Air District at that time, and really we were the first Air District to actually implement incentive programs back from 30 years ago with the partnership that we developed between Dr. Moyer at that time. So right here in River City is where we began this unique and innovative process moving forward. Unfortunately, Dr. Moyer passed away about a year after we'd actually got these programs started, but the program did turn out to be very successful, and as it turned out, it actually later on became adopted with the state, which I'll talk about here in a moment. The other element I would like to mention is that our Transportation and Climate Change Division has grown significantly over the last 30 years and still continues to do innovative and unique projects within the state. We've got a nice footprint here, being a medium-sized air district, to be able to explore some new and innovative projects, and I'm going to share that story here as we move forward. Next slide. So really the way this program began is that with Carl Moyer and the Sac Air District, we realized that, especially from Dr. Moyer's perspective, trucks and heavy-duty equipment that were diesel operating were the ones that were really creating a huge air pollution problem within here in the valley and also here in the Sacramento region. And they realized that diesel equipment lasts for a long time. It could last for decades and decades. And how do you get owners and operators to move into new equipment? So we really needed to develop a partnership between government and the private businesses in order to move that forward. And we determined that providing incentive dollars towards these private businesses would help them move forward towards purchasing new equipment and also removing the old equipment and getting it out of service altogether. So that old equipment would be destroyed and no longer continuing. The State Air Resources Board recognized the efforts that we did here at the local level, and within the first year that they started a statewide program here in 1999, and they named it after Dr. Moyer really in honor and memory of the work that he had done throughout his life. We started off very small. It was $25 million statewide at that time, and we got $1.9 million to start that show on the road. Let's go next slide. Over the time, this model became a template for many more incentive funding streams as well. Beyond just the Moyer program, there are several other state programs and federal programs that developed along that way. And really, when you stop back and think about it, it's really pretty amazing that our air district was really one of the leaders that really got that started moving forward. Today, there's billions of dollars being invested statewide on incentive programs, and even within our region, we have now had several hundred million that's been invested in the Sacramento region, which has been benefiting communities, cleaning the air, obviously, improving public health, and even creating workforce development within our local area. Let's go to the next slide. So just a quick summary of that. It's now over $370 million that's been invested. That's quite a bit more larger than that $1.9 million we had from nearly 30 years ago. And over 8,000 pieces of equipment have been either replaced, repowered, something been done to improve that air quality. It's ranged from agricultural equipment like ag tractors and ag engines, from construction equipment, the loaders and scrapers and motor graders. We've done the big-time locomotives. We've done plenty of trucks and buses, including school buses. And, of course, even in the last few years, even 20 years ago, we were doing infrastructure for CNG vehicles. And today we're moving into the electric side and zero-emission side for fueling and electric infrastructure. The chart on the right, looks like the color coding didn't show up here, was to be broken up. CCAT was federal dollars. The Moyer, Prop 1B, CAP, and Farmer are state dollars. And DMV is our local dollars that contribute towards that. And those are some of the higher pots of funding, as you can see on the chart, that we've received over time. Let's move on to the next slide here. Wanted to share with you, we're going to go informal here for about 30 seconds here, and we're going to have a little bit of fun here. I want you guys anybody care to take a guess what this particular material is here that we have in the canister? I'll give you a hint. It's one of the two things you see up on that slide up there for emissions. Particulate matter, yes. This is PM10. I wanted to share with you that this is an old 1977 tractor that you have here on the left. A lot of times we relate to this as tons per year because, oh, that's the scientific jargon that we have to use, and this is what we do from a state and federal reporting standpoint. But I want to start relating it into more day-to-day terms. So the NOx is 1.32 tons per year from that old tractor, and that PM10 coming from it is 0.069 tons per year. What the heck does that mean? That's 138 pounds of this stuff that's coming from that tractor every year. The new tractor is going down to 0.03 tons per year ozone, which this is one of those air pollutants. You know, we have a lot of air pollutants, NOx, ROG, and others, CO, that you really don't see unless maybe it gets into the big general sky. You might see a hazy as part of it. But this stuff here, that's fine, particulate matter, that gets into your lungs. And actually, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to send it over to that side of the board, and you guys can pass it around. Just look at it. Shake it. Thank you. My director, Jaime, will get that started to go around the side there. But I wanted you guys to just, this is one of the few air particulate matters that you can actually see. Now, I want to bring this back to home on the new tractor. What does 0.001 tons per year of particulate matter means? You're going from 138 pounds on that old tractor to 2 pounds of particulate matter coming out. I want you to notice one other thing on that picture on the left. If you guys can figure, if I had a pointer, I'd point to it, but there's an exhaust stack right next to that tractor cab. That 138 pounds of particulate matter, it's within about 2 feet of the operator who's running that cab. Mm-hmm. What's the chances you think that some of that matter is actually getting into the cab, that operator is breathing it in? What's the chances of the other workers in the area that are working around that tractor are breathing that stuff in? So when you want to talk about what are we making a difference here, we absolutely are. Bringing it down to 2 pounds obviously is a lot less. It's not perfect, which is what we'll talk about later on, is trying to move into that direction. But, nobody wants to breathe in 2 pounds of this stuff, let alone 138 pounds of that. So we can move on to the next slide here. I think you get the hint here of what we're doing with this. This next slide here is just a sampling of the projects we've done in the last couple of years, and I'm going to go real quickly through the pictures. On the upper left-hand corner, you can see we've got a parking lot with chargers. Next one is another tractor example. Then we have our Pepsi trucks we did from a couple years back. Those are the big Class 8 trucks. They're still operating in our region. They drive all day long. They can drive 300 to 400 miles on them on one electric charge, and they get charged up in about 30 minutes to an hour when they get back to the station. Then we have electric UTV, which a lot of the ag operations are doing. We've got an electric school bus on the lower left, electric forklift. Still have a diesel technology with the loader, but as we know, there are some things where we have to still go diesel. And then we got another charger. And on the bottom right, we got a electric lawnmower, riding lawnmower. These are all projects we've done just in the last couple of years, and just give you a sampling of some of the incentive projects we've done. Let's go on to the next slide. So as we said, when we went with diesel technology, while it's a lot cleaner and very impressive, nobody wants to breathe in 2 pounds of PM. So we still want to move into what we call the zero emission realm, and I want to highlight some cases that are going to help us out from a community perspective in terms of how to reach those goals. Can we move on to the next slide? We recently just finished up, this is a multi-unit housing association here just in downtown Sacramento. In fact, it's just a few blocks away from here. It's the Downtown Bridgeway Towers project, and as you can see from the picture on the upper right, it's a multi-story housing unit. It was an existing, we just installed 47 plugs within the parking lot. They're only 110 volt, but it's something that we could actually accommodate within the building. The existing building is about 50 years old. It was not going to accommodate high capacity chargers that could charge cars up quickly. So what we ended up looking at was an option of being able to, for the residents in the area, when you park your car, when you come home from work at night, you don't want to have to be moving your car every half hour to be going to a different spot. So in order to accommodate that, you now have a lot of parking spots where at least you can plug your car in. It'll still charge your car up to get enough mileage to maybe do about 40 to 60 miles in a day, which really can accommodate a lot of trips like going to the doctor's office, taking your kids to school, going and doing some of your appointments. So it's still a practical way of being able to at least get to open up that possibility if you're a resident there of buying an electric car. This kind of technology can also support our Clean Cars for All program because, as you know, we have many residents that don't live in homes. They live in apartments and other places like that. And so being able to even just getting a simple plug outlet in there at least opens up that opportunity there from that end. And a big thing here is we didn't have to do anything with SMUD in terms of getting additional equipment, additional power stations. And so that speeds up the process, because otherwise it could take you years in order to get these things in versus maybe several months in order to get that project in. So let's move on to the next slide. This is another project that's also out in the Folsom area. Instead of level 1 chargers like that 110 volt, these are level 2 chargers. Again, it was another building that was going to be a complicated install. And it was 17 level 2 chargers. This actually gets your car charged up all the way. So if you have a car that has a 200 or 300 mile range, you can get it charged up overnight and actually continue to do that. And without any, like I said, there's still challenging construction with the existing parts that are there, but you're able to move on. We'll go on to the next slide. Of course, one of the other things that we highlighted, as Emily mentioned here as well, is that we've done a lot of school buses. I wanted to highlight one of our school districts that's in our South Sacramento community in our AB 617 area, and that's the Oak Grove Unified School District. They currently have 4 new buses that our board approved here a few months ago that they're still looking at purchasing, and we're also installing some additional infrastructure to support the electric buses that they have in their fleet. I wanted to share with you that Elk Grove has had a long partnership with us at the Air District. In fact, they were one of the original participants even 30 years ago when we first opened up. They even did a demonstration EV bus project 30 years ago, and I will emphasize the word demonstration because we discovered that the technology was not quite mature enough at that time. 30 years later, the technology has matured. I think we have over 100 buses now operating in the region that are electric. There's still some challenges with some of them, but most of them are doing what we expect them to do, and we're still learning more about it as we move forward. And over that 30 years, we've done 143 vehicles with Elk Grove School District, and we've done about 5 infrastructure projects. So that's what we're doing from the present. That's what we've done right now, and I will go on to the next slide here. We're moving into the section here, and I'll get close to wrapping this up, where we're actually going to be looking for some board approval with urban greening and innovative projects, but we wanted to share these with you so you have a better feel of what we're doing. Next slide. First project I wanted to bring to your attention that we'll be looking for approval is the La Familia Counseling Center in South Sacramento. This project is going to cost close to $2 million, and it's really a community greening project where we're going to be planting a lot of trees and shrubs, and we're going to be creating irrigation there, where it's going to be a spot where the people in North Franklin area can actually gather together and actually spend time in an area that's safe. It's an open space. It's where the community can gather and have community meetings and parks and things along that line. It's over by Franklin Boulevard and 37th Avenue. There's even going to be a community garden over there. One of the partners we have is Sacramento Tree Foundation, and they're going to be working through this to make sure we get the right types of trees, the right types of shrubs, right type of irrigation. You get the hint here. And we're also having the United Latinos, which is going to help out with the outreach out here. And I believe there's even some work even with the Sacramento City School District in terms of this project here. So there's multiple partners involved in terms of developing this open space into a beautiful area, which we can all do. And it is part of our South Sacramento AB 617 area. Let's move on to the next slide. Our other project that we wanted to bring to you for consideration today, it's called the High Watts Hydrogen Charger. Basically, these are electric chargers for cars, but it's a very unique technology, and it's something that's innovative. And as I mentioned here, we continue to try and push the innovation here at our agency to try new ideas and see what we can do with it. We're going to be using hydrogen here, along with being connected to the grid from SMUD to generate power for charging cars. There's going to be a solar array that's actually used to generate the hydrogen. That hydrogen would then go through a fuel cell technology in order to run the chargers here. So you've got a combination of technologies with solar and fuel cells and batteries that are all kind of working to charge this equipment. It'll also help from a resiliency end, so in the event you have power outages, the solar panels can still work to actually generate hydrogen and still have the ability to actually still charge some vehicles along the way. So this is going to be a unique demonstration project. It's near Sac State, and we wanted to try out this technology to see where it can go from a future standpoint and see where it goes from there. Let's go with the next slide. So at this point, I'm going to deviate and actually read the actual slide, because this is the part where I need to ask for board approval here, and we'll go from there. So really on this last slide, we do want to ask the board to authorize the APCO to execute contract agreements with La Familia Counseling Center up to $1,728,000 and the High Watts project up to $2 million. And that concludes my presentation.
Mike, thank you so much. The Carl Moyer program is something that's referenced a lot, so it was very helpful to have that history. Thank you. And I think we all appreciate presentations that include show and tell. So
Fair enough.
I don't have any requests to speak, but does anybody have any questions or comments for Mike? Director Kennedy.
Thank you, Chair. Just want to say great work. Since AB 617 has been such a changing force in South Sacramento and the SEP and everything else that we're doing down there. And I normally I don't just comment on a presentation, but I couldn't let it go without just saying great work.
Thank you.
Particularly La Familia. Not only we're creating a space that will actually help scrub our air and make air quality better, but we're also making the community better in a long-needed community meeting space for outdoor living in an area that has ignored that. We have ignored for far too long. So, kudos to the Air District for stepping up and being more than just an Air District, but also a valued member of our community.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Director Rodriguez.
Yeah, I have the same sentiments. Thank you for the very informative presentation. So, environmental cancers are very interesting to me, and I know that air quality has oftentimes an impact to certain type of cancers. Are there any studies that you are aware of that show that the improvements that are being made to air quality are having a positive impact or reduction in particular types of cancers that may have impacted certain groups like the ag industry or other types of industries?
I can answer in general, then I'll defer to my management team here at this point. But yes, I do. There are plenty of studies out here that actually show that do link these results in there. I believe my director Alberto Ayala here can also speak more to that, especially with his background.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for the question. The entire process for setting national ambient air quality standards is precisely based on the evidence that links what happens to humans when you get exposed to pollutants like PM. So the answer to your question is absolutely. The scientific evidence is pretty large, actually, and it's been going on. The very first standards came around in the late 80s, early 90s. So absolutely, yeah, there's definitely a correlation in terms of if you reduce the stuff that Mike is showing you, and you prevent people from breathing in it, you are certainly going to improve cancer and other outcomes.
Thank you, Dr. Ayala. If you have some of the data, I'd love to see it, and you can send it to me, another day.
I like the idea, and maybe just for reference, maybe we'll do a nice summary that, as you have seen earlier, our communications office is excellent at putting out these great reading materials that are very digestible. So maybe we'll think about doing something that is easy to share with the public. Yeah, appreciate the question.
Director Jennings.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great presentation. My question is, I know what's on the table today as far as asking for approval from the board to move these forward. Do you want to take them in one motion or in separate motions?
I'm comfortable with one motion here.
Okay. So I just want to make sure I understood that. And based on what's been said, I'd like to move the item. Just having an opportunity to work with La Familia in particular and see the work that they've done and the great work that they're doing in the South area of Sacramento, especially for our youth. I think they could be a model center to take up the mantle of reaching out even more to other organizations. And I think that's my final question. I want to put the motion on the table, but I also want to know, are you looking for other organizations to do the same kind of thing, to have these community projects? And so I'll throw that out.
Yeah, absolutely. That is part of this is the first of what we plan to be doing for many years to come for urban greening projects. we're going to learn a lot, I think, from this project here, but I do know that that's one of the intents with our community air protection funds is to continue to look for opportunities here. One for these types of projects, and the other one that we didn't talk as much about was the mobility center type projects, which would still open up the community to these types of events. So, yes.
Yeah, and I'd like to know a whole lot more about the potential of opening up these urban greening projects. I'd like to know about that so that I can help as far as reaching out to the community and letting them know that this is coming, and so they can get ready for it. There are a lot of community-based organizations that are out there looking for something like this, education for our young and their families, so I just want to be involved in helping with that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Director Jennings. And I do know your motion, but we do have some public comment on this item. And I just also want to say, I also really love that urban green space. It reminds me of Savannah, Georgia, if any of you have been there, where they have, a series of these squares every few blocks right in the heart of the city. And just the tree canopy and just, a green space provides a lot of a respite area, but also, of course, helps the air quality. So thank you very much. Selena, we have some public comment on this item?
Yes, Chair, we do. I have Mike McWhirter in the chamber to give public comment.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you to the board for allowing me to have this opportunity to support AQMD. We have my name is Mike McWhirter. I'm the Vice President of the Homeowners Association for property located at 500 N Street. It's 143 units, 16-story building with an adjacent 2-story parking garage that is available only for the use of the residents. We had been confronted by some of our residents and condominium owners requesting an evaluation or an opportunity for electric vehicle charging in our facility. And because the Davis-Sterling Act, we were required to investigate and determine if there are barriers and can those barriers be removed to provide practical electric vehicle charging to our ownership. It did not take us long to determine that we did not have any practical opportunity. Our building was built in 1970. Was not built with the forethought that we would need to allocate some special use parking. Rather, our little building is dedicated to one parking space per one condominium. So that's the residents, one-to-one. The parking spaces are assigned, so we can't shuffle them around. We couldn't withdraw some parking to make it specific to electric vehicle charging. So, and we have no adjacent space where we could put something outside the building or outside the parking area. We investigated with the city of Sacramento and other entities to see what we could do in a practical close proximity, and determined soon that the barriers seemed insurmountable. We took one last opportunity, and we contacted Sacramento Municipal Utility District, and they were gracious enough to send us an electric vehicle subject matter expert who met with us a number of times, examined our property, and very importantly, introduced us to AQMD, and we began to get real information that was current and that would help us potentially solve our problem. The one stumbling block, in addition to the physical limitations that the property has, was financing. And with our 143 property owners, anything that we were looking at to try to develop an electric vehicle charging opportunity was going to cost significant money. And our regulations that govern the ownership group and the board requires that anything like that we would do, capital improvement, would require an assessment. An assessment requires 51% vote in favor. It didn't take a lot of math to figure out that we wouldn't be able to get 143, 51% of that, 70 plus owners, very few of which had electric vehicles or didn't even at that time, 3 years ago, have a lot of knowledge or interest in EV, apparently. So getting that kind of approval was very far-fetched. Nonetheless, We met with the team now that was Aqmd and Aqmd, and one of the very, very significant things, in addition to the physical elements and the technology elements, we realized that there were incentives that were available to us. So we began to go down the engineering path with deeper examination and eventually discovered that with the combined incentives between SMUD and the Air Quality Management District, we now brought the budget potentially into a level that we could get through the board and the ownership group and move into possible completion of electric vehicle charging opportunities. If I just roll it back to today, or roll it forward, I should say, we now have 47 electric vehicle chargers in our garage of 143 spaces. So that's 30% of our spaces now have electric vehicle charging opportunities. We were able to do this in a budget that did not require any special assessments, did not require going to vote of the ownership group, and it allowed us to then manage the parking in our two-story parking garage for individuals that had electric vehicles to be able to sign up and then receive the assigned parking space for their electric vehicle charging needs. What that has done is it opened up the opportunity to our residents that prior to this had no opportunity for on-site electric vehicle charging, which was a significant deterrent to their interest and opportunity to buy an electric vehicle. It changed some people's intention of where they were going to live. They had to move out of city center because we couldn't provide that. Once we began to provide that, we now have many new electric vehicles being purchased, and our residents are finding a great opportunity which they had not had before. It is a relatively recent completion, so we're just now seeing how this is catching on, but the benefits are clear. Our tenants are much happier, and we are extremely thankful for what Air Quality Management District has done for us, for the incentives, for the technical support, for the emotional support for the board members, and for Sacramento Municipal Utility District as well. So I want to thank the board, and I hope that you consider favorably any opportunity to fund projects like ours going forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mike, for coming out and sharing. We're glad it worked out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Selena, any other requests to speak?
One more. Jerry Boulette.
Good morning.
Good morning, Board. I'm Jerry Boulay with the Elk Grove Unified School District. I'm the supervisor of fleet maintenance. So we have a total of 31 electric vehicles. They're the wheelchair buses. 3 of them are Thomas buses, which are a little bit larger of a vehicle. The other are international school buses. 16 of which you guys have funded. 4 more coming in, I want to say it was just funded, coming, I want to say about November, December of this year from international. We upgraded 10 level 2 chargers to 11 DC fast chargers. That project's coming to completion, I want to say in the next 2 months. We're waiting for our 1,000 amp panel to get installed. And that's in, by the way. So all our chargers are all DC fast chargers. They all work fantastic. Matter of fact, we're in current construction with 16 more chargers through EPA funding as well, starting today, I think. Yeah, they cut concrete today. So with air quality management and working with all these folks, the Elk Grove School District is very pleased. The comment we hear from parents is they like them. They're quiet. The special needs students, they're not distracted by the loud diesel buses. And we have a variety of vehicles in our fleet. So we have propane, we have CNG, we have obviously diesel, and we are scrapping our older diesel buses for the new EV buses. Our chargers, they all run fantastic. There's minimal downtime. I mean, you have your hiccups here and there. Our buses, we do have buses that do go down. It's usually about a month. But it's, getting parts and updating parts and stuff like that. But we work very closely with Model 1, who is our vendor right around the corner from us, and they keep us updated very well. So we look forward to future projects with you guys, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for coming out. Thank you for your partnership.
Thank you.
I think that's all the public comment we have.
Yes,
I have no other requests to speak, and we do have a motion from Director Jennings. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, motion carries. Thank you very much. That takes us to item 7.2, Assembly Bill 1390 Policy Update. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, members of the board. My name is Christian Damkier. I'm engineer in the Transportation and Climate Change Division. I'm here to talk to you about another AB program that we deal with, specifically the AB 1390 policy. Next slide, please. I can get my slides better. AB 1390 was adopted in 2001, and it requires large air districts like us to distribute at least 50% of our Carl Moyer funds into communities of color and low-income areas. We are coming to you this morning to update this policy. Specifically, we are going to continue to apply our existing Carl Moyer requirements. We are going to update our standards to the 2020 U.S. Census, and we will continue to meet or exceed the 50% allocation requirements. Next slide. So this slide shows you our current AB 1390 policy. It was created in 2003 based on 2000 census data. And I also just want to let you know that I was one of the staff that developed this program back in 2003. So I am glad to come back to you to finally get some updates for this. However, that said, this has been a very successful policy that we've had. It's been very business friendly, but it's also reflected the community needs, and it's been a great thing. It's something that we strive to meet. It's not a burden. It's something that we embrace, and we want to make sure that the community is met with these funds. However, using 2000 census data is no longer representing the true community. And as you can see, the current version covers what was important areas in 2000. So now we are going to update that to reflect the current version. Next slide. So this is our proposed map. Just for reference, we actually just identify specific census tracts, but we use the map so that the community knows what we're going for. This proposed policy reflects not only changes in the demographics of the community, but also the census tract boundaries have changed as well since 2000. One thing is does change the eligibility of some of our areas. Areas of South Natomas are now included in this area. It does now cover McClellan Park, which is a very critical part of some of our programs. It does expand eligibility in South Sacramento and Elk Grove. This program could be used if we decide to use some of our money for regional programs, which is why we show the entire region. However, all of our programs currently are for Sacramento County only. Next slide. And here's a side-by-side map showing the current on the left and the proposed on the right. As you can see, there are some changes. Over the last 20 years, the region has changed. But one thing that's really difficult on these maps is each one of these communities shows up as being a very small community on the map. But these are very important parts of what we do, and there's a lot of people in these areas. So even though it doesn't look very big, there's a lot of local changes, and I really believe that this will more accurately show how we can do these programs. Next slide, please. So what we are requesting the board, we need approval for the District AB 1390 policy update. We would like a resolution to update the district's policy and then also authorize the APCO to make changes as needed to update this policy going forward. And that's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you very much, Christian. Any questions or comments for Christian? Any public comments, Selena? Okay, then we will entertain a motion to accept the staff's recommendation.
I'll move approval of the board action item.
We have a motion from Director Rodriguez, second from Director Robles. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Okay, thank you very much, Christian.
Thank you.
We already took care of 7.3, so we will go to item 8, our APCO report.
Thank you, and good morning to all of our board members. Nice to see you. Happy New Year, all those nice things. We always look forward to the first meeting of the year since we don't see you in October and in November and December. So today I'm going to share with you some reflections looking ahead. Earlier in the first presentation, you heard from Emily in our communications office a review of some of the things that we accomplished last year in 2025. So what I wanted to do is also give you a sense in terms of what's in front of us. Yes, there are some dark clouds, and we are feeling some headwinds, but there's also going to be some really nice opportunity, and you are also going to be a part of that. The first thing I want to highlight for you is the work that we do, as meaningful as it is in the region, obviously is connected to a bigger whole. And the bigger whole that I refer to is our state and the nation. And I could not imagine being an air quality agency in California or the U.S. without having the support and the connection to these two very important organizations. The first one I want to highlight for you is the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association. So this is a collection of all 35 air districts in California. We gather, we meet regularly. Our staff are always engaged, working together under a committee structure that looks at anything and everything related to air quality and air pollution control. It's 50 years old. We just celebrated the 50th anniversary. And this is a really important connection to us because it allows us to influence and to understand where state policy as it relates to air quality and climate now is moving. And it's also a very powerful tool for us to advocate for the things that we care about, which are not necessarily always the same things that the state of California and the state agency, the Air Resources Board, is wanting to do. So this is a very important organization for us at the state level. At the national level, we're fortunate to also be members of the equivalent association, the National Association of Clean Air Agencies. This is a collection of about 155 or so air agencies across the U.S. Most of them are regional, local agencies like us, but there's also about a collection of 40 state agencies. And again, our state agency, the Air Resources Board, is also a member. I get to sit on the board of both organizations. For NACA, I have the honor currently of serving as the vice president representing the local agencies. And if everything goes as well, we will become president of the association representing the locals, along with our co-president from Wisconsin, who will represent the state. These are really important connections for us. And again, the reason we are able to succeed at the regional level is because we have a very good understanding and partners and help that provide a connection to what's happening at the state level and at the national level. Next slide, please. 2026 is an important year for us, and you know, we're going to cheat a little bit, but hey, it's a good excuse to have a party. The current incarnation of this agency as an air district, an independent and autonomous special district, is 30 years old. In 1996, there was state legislation that created the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District. Prior to that, we were a department, if you will, of Sacramento County. And that history goes back to 1959. Most air districts actually started as parts of counties. And there was a progression, for good reason, to become independent. But it's remarkable to me that the very first agencies in the U.S. that began the fight against air pollution in the late 40s and early 50s were the air quality districts in California. So we have a long history of success, of understanding what it takes to reduce air pollution. And again, this year is special because, again, we're going to turn 30 years old. And we are planning with our team a nice celebration. We're thinking sometime in the fall. We'll keep you posted. We'll come and share with you our thoughts. Obviously, we want everybody to participate with us. Next slide, please. This is also a special moment for me because I want to recognize this special guy. I'm just so proud of Jaime and so proud of the fact that I decided to make him one of my directors. And he was recently recognized by the California Energy Commission as one of the clean energy champions. Now, when you think about the California Energy Commission statewide, and there's so much going on in the energy space these days. Again, this is a statewide area. There's so many issues across California. And the fact that Jaime and his work, not only with us as an air agency, but his deep connections to the community were recently recognized. And I just wanted you to be aware of that. It is a very proud moment for us, and I just couldn't be prouder of this guy. So thank you, Jaime.
I think that deserves a round of applause, Jaime.
Next slide. Last year, we got a number of homework assignments from some of you, and I just want to remind you of what those are and tell you that we're currently working on them, and we'll bring you back some recommendations. They are outstanding, but again, it's important for you to know that we're not forgetting, and we just got a couple new assignments today. We thank you for that. We welcome those. The first one is one that is obviously very important and quite could be quite controversial, but we're going to do our best to bring you a sensible recommendation. It has to do with, again, AB 617 and Sacramento community interest in emissions from the executive airport, and in particular lead emissions, which are coming from the use of the avgas that is used in those airplanes. So we came to you with some ideas in terms of starting to monitor for that. We had some really good questions from the board. So we're still doing some of the analysis, and we'll bring you back a recommendation in terms of how we're going to proceed. The community is expecting us to do this. It is under the AB 617 mantle, so we do have a responsibility to address the community concerns, but also obviously we want to make sure that this is something that you're comfortable with. We got another assignment looking at two things. How can we be more efficient when we do our inspection of businesses that are permitted? And the opportunities to partner with jurisdictions like the county and the cities that also have similar functions. And the other aspect to that is you asked us to look at the potential benefit of new technology. There's a lot of technology out there, and we are looking at some of that and bringing back some recommendations and updates. And then the last one is also, there were some questions, some points from the board related to electric vehicles, and how do they factor into the future of road charges that California is exploring in terms of, we all know that fuel taxes are not what they used to be, which is a good thing because again we have lower demand for gasoline. So there's some questions and a lot of policy discussions related to the connection to EVs. We want to bring you back some of that information so at least you have an update in terms of where things are going. Next slide. This is my second to last slide, and again, just some of the things, from where we sit, what's in front of us. Our federal partners at EPA are very busy. They put out a deregulatory agenda that includes 31 items. Most of them are related to air quality, so there's a lot of action. They're talking for 2026, their priority is likely going to be permitting reform. What does that mean? I think we all have a different understanding of what permitting is, and when you think about reform, we probably all also have different ideas. But there's a lot of activity in Congress, legislation and otherwise, looking at some of the plans that EPA is going to be putting forth. And again, thanks to organizations like NACA, we have a direct window into some of those discussions that we're going to be tracking, because ultimately they will have a regional impact, a local impact, obviously. The state is also planning to update the regulations governing the cap and trade program that is now cap and invest. Why do we care about that? Obviously, we care about reducing carbon, but most importantly, this is where the money for some of the incentive projects that you heard about comes from. A lot of the funding that is going to come to agencies like ours is going to be cap and trade revenues, and obviously we're involved in that discussion, again, mostly through our CAPCOA association. There's a really interesting regulation that is going to come out of ARB this year having to do with corporate climate disclosure, and that is, if you're a business of a certain size that is doing business in California, you're going to have to start reporting essentially the carbon footprint for your operations. They're going to start with big businesses, but eventually it's going to trickle down to cover more and more. This is very important because, again, it's how do you account for, the carbon embedded in the things that we all go to Walmart and Target and buy? I mean, is that relevant? Hasn't been done before, so this is yet another opportunity for California to lead. And again, eventually it will impact us in some fashion. The state has also shared with us that they're going to be looking at carbon capture and storage in terms of the accounting protocols. This is really important because, again, we're thinking that one way to tackle the climate crisis is we're going to have to grab carbon from either the air or our power plants, and then just put it in the ground. So it's a massive undertaking, and the reason we care, among other things, is obviously I think you're all aware of the project that Aqmd is partnering with up north in Yuba City with Calpine and the Sutter Energy Center there. That is the first full-scale project that is going to try to do the very thing that I described. Is a power plant. It's a big power plant, 200 megawatts and more. And what they're going to try to do is capture the CO2 that comes out of those turbines and put it into the ground. It's a very important project, and we're going to be tracking and engaging with the state in terms of how we're going to be moving ahead with that. Because, again, obviously, all these have a very direct connection to air quality, one way or the other, and that's the reason I'm highlighting these for you. The state is going to move also another area that is going to be of interest to all of us on policies to reduce, again, carbon emissions from buildings and appliances. And again, that's something that we've talked a lot about. There's been a lot of work in Sacramento, in the city of Sacramento, in the past, and the state is going to take a statewide approach at this. We try to support SACOG as much as we can, and obviously we're all very pleased and excited that they just recently approved the blueprint for the roadmap for the next couple of decades. The state is going to be doing an update to SB 375 and SB 743. This has to do with the VMT targets that our region and every other region in the state is trying to meet. We are aware that SACOG and some of the other large NPOs are asking for the state to, quote-unquote, reform the program. So there's a lot of discussion at the moment in terms of what that is and how to do this in a better way that doesn't penalize regions when you don't meet the target. We're going to be tracking this, obviously, because there's a very direct correlation between the air pollution that comes from a vehicle and the vehicle miles travel. So this is another policy area that we're probably going to have a future discussion at the board as well. Air toxics, the state is going to give us a roadmap. Air toxics, you get a report every year. It's been a long-standing policy in California from the mid-'80s. And the fact that the state is going to revamp how we think of air toxics is important to us. We don't have any more detail at this point, but we just know that this is going to be an area in 2026 that is going to be important. And then the last one is data centers. We're all talking data centers, not only in the region, but across the nation. And again, it's the energy, it's the air pollution that could potentially be generated, or the deployment of really good technology, which is what we want to see. We want to enable this type of development, but do it in a way that actually brings innovation in terms of, how do you provide power that is clean. So these are some of the things that we're going to be paying attention. And again, I just want to give you a little sense in terms of what's going to keep us busy in 2026. And the last thing is, again, back to AB 617. This year is important. Next slide. Because we have to deliver, and we're hoping that Chair Aquino and Vice Chair Maple, others are invited. Director Vang and Director Maple, you guys represent the area. We have to deliver something called a Community Emission Reduction Plan to the Air Resources Board in July. So what that means is the plan is going to come before you because you have to approve it first. But it's a very large plan. We just published the first draft last Friday for public comment. We're going to take that public comment, and then we'll bring you the final plan. It's over 200 pages, so we're going to show you a very nice story map that communications put together to make it more digestible. But again, this is basically a collection of, we've done the monitoring, we've done the talking, what are the things that we can do in the community to begin reducing emissions? And you've seen some of those. Some of the strategies out of the 28 that you're going to see in the plan are urban greening. Let's bring trees because trees are an air quality strategy. So we're pretty excited because this really marks an important endpoint to the initial process. Obviously, what's in the future for us is implementation of all those 28 strategies. And I want to recognize all of you because your staff at the city and at the county are working side by side with us, because a lot of the things that the community wants us to do that are now in the plan are really not belonging to an air quality agency. A lot of it is going to be either the cities, the planners, or the county. And again, I just want to recognize that our staff and your staff have been working together very well, and we have strong support from all of our partners because they all understand the importance of AB 617, the program at large. So the last thing I'm gonna ask Selena to do is just to give you a sense. She's gonna switch over to the website that has, again, what we call the story map that makes the plan a little bit more digestible. It's got some very nice videos and short descriptions of what's in it. So that's the landing page, and just go ahead and scroll, Selena. So you have this information in your packets. You have the link, so I hope that you do spend some time and kind of go through it so you can get a sense of what's in it. And again, we'll bring you the documents. Next month, we're going to start bringing you chunks of the strategies, and so that we can engage in a discussion, help you understand what we are going to be submitting to the state in July, assuming, again, that we get your approval in May. So thank you for that. This concludes the APCO report.
Thank you, Dr. Ayala. Director Kennedy has questions or comments?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ayala. I just real quickly want to remind you that the Florence, South Sacramento area also has a county supervisor.
Duly noted. How could I forget?
Director Robles?
Just want to say thank you for the report, but I also want to say congratulations to Jaime. Thank you for representing, and it's awesome to be able to serve with you and alongside of you, and congratulations, seriously. And Dr. Ayala, when you get to be the president, can you make sure Wisconsin knows that the Minnesota Vikings are better than the Green Bay Packers? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That takes us on to item 9, board ideas, comments, and AB 1234 reports. Anybody have anything to share? Seeing none. Selena, any public comment for items that are not on the agenda? Okay, then we will adjourn at 10:09. Thank you, everyone.